Hello and welcome back to another episode of my soul cooking channel. I'm going to cook a coastal dish today from a small town called Nellore. And Nellore is in Andhra Pradesh and it's known for the spicy fish curries that they make here. So we're going to make a Nellore Chapla Koora, and Chapla means fish. And we're going to use sailfish today. I have filleted it and cut it into cubes, you see here. The other ingredients that go into it: tomato that have been pureed, fresh coriander, red chillies. You get special red chillies in Andhra Pradesh. It's called from a place called Guntur. So Guntur Red Chillies, the mustard seeds, cumin seeds, Jeera, and this is fenugreek seeds, also called Methi, and some tamarind paste. And this is I've just opened a jar of ready-made tamarind pulp. You could also take dried tamarind pods, soak it in warm water and then turn it into a pulp. All we are looking for is around 75 grams or a small cup of tamarind puree. There's red chilli powder, coriander powder, there is turmeric powder, chopped garlic, curry leaves and some oil. So let's get cooking. Alright, so we have a simple stock pot here and we're going to pour some, I use canola oil, you could use any vegetable oil instead. I've taken around 75 ml of the canola oil, and the first thing that goes in is mustard seeds. I'm going to give you all the exact quantities that goes into this. I'm used to doing it by the eye measure, which I call it, but I'm going to give you exact details of how much quantity of each ingredient to put in the description below the video. So make sure you don't miss that. The oil is hot, the mustard has started to crackle, and we take these red chilies. I've taken 2 pieces of these. I'm going to break it into 2 and add it on top of the mustard seeds. We wait for all the mustard seeds to crackle and follow it up with methi seeds. A little swirl. We have to be very careful here because methi seeds can get burnt very quickly. So cook it on moderate flame from here on, and then you add cumin seeds to it. You notice the fenugreek seeds start turning red in color, and that's the right time for you to add chopped garlic. And a handful of curry leaves. This is another very critical stage. We don't want the garlic to turn absolutely reddish brown. So as it turns crispy and you can get the beautiful aroma of cooked garlic, you add in the tomato puree. So as soon as the tomato puree that we've added starts to come to a simple boil, we add all the spices to it. So we're going to start with the red chili powder. This is a spicy fish curry. So there's going to be 2.5 spoons of red chili powder, 3 heapful spoons of coriander powder, and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. We turn the flame down. You got to be careful because the tomato puree starts spluttering. So stay away from the stock pot while you're stirring it, but stir it continuously. Stir it in a circular fashion and in the forming an 8. So making sure that it's not getting stuck to the bottom of the stock pot. We're going to cook this for approximately 2 to 3 minutes until we see the oil separating out of the tomatoes and we know that the red chilli and the coriander and the spices are getting cooked. And then we add the tamarind and water. As the oil is separating out, we add salt to taste, enough for the tomatoes to get cooked. Now as you see, the oil has started separating out. Now that's a good sign. It means the tomatoes are cooked, the spices are also cooked. And now we add the tamarind puree. And that's going to be 2 teaspoonfuls of tamarind puree. And we top up with water. That's approximately 2 cups of water that we add on top of this. And now this is going to be simmering for a good 15 minutes until all the flavors blend with the tomatoes and the tamarind leaves out a slight sweetish taste instead of being very sour. So the fish curry is now simmering in the stock pot in slow flame. It needs to cook for a good 30 minutes, but while that is going on, we have to make the special spice powder that goes on top of the fish curry. And what does that have? We take a simple fry pan and we're going to dry roast mustard seeds, cumin seeds, and methi seeds. Now all these 3 ingredients went into the curry at the beginning, so you may wonder why we're adding this again, but there's a special joy in adding these ingredients again after roasting it and coarsely grinding it and then finishing it on top of the fish curry so that you get prominent flavors of these ingredients. While you're roasting these spices, ensure that you're constantly stirring it around. We don't want it to stick to the base and start getting burnt. Swirl it around the pan. Very soon the mustard will start to crackle, the cumin seeds will start to crackle, and the fenugreek seeds will start to turn pinkish in color. Now there it is. This is the time I'm picking it up from the flame because I don't want the spices to get burnt or charred. That's just around perfect. The fenugreek seeds is now perfect reddish pink in color, and we take it off. If you cook this longer, the spices will get burnt. And now we transfer it to a dry grinder and we make it into a coarse powder. The curry sauce has been simmering for a good 20 minutes. And another measure to check whether it's ready is that the oil starts separating out again. Now this means it's ready to receive the fish. And we add all the fish cubes into it. So don't stir it vigorously. Ensure that you are going slow at it, and avoid cooking it with a lid on top, because then what happens, the fish while it gets cooked also leaves out moisture, and the curry is going to be very watery and you have to cook it for longer, and we want to avoid that. While this is getting cooked, I want to quickly get some fresh coriander chopped and ready. We cut it roughly, not very fine, and I also include some stems of the coriander because it's got all the wonderful flavor and aroma. We are now in the final stages of finishing the Nellore Chapla Koora, the spicy tamarind fish curry, and you see that the oil is separated out, and we add fresh coriander leaves on top of this, and as soon as it comes to another boil, we add that wonderful spice powder that we made. I've coarsely ground it. This had mustard seeds, fenugreek seeds, and cumin seeds. Slowly stirring it, ensuring that we don't break the pieces of fish. As it comes to another boil, we add 1 heap teaspoon of the powder that we made, and we switch it off, and then we stir it in. Now why do we switch it off? See, once you add a roasted spice powder at the end, if you keep cooking it, it'll start turning bitter, and that's what we want to avoid. We want the wonderful aroma of the roasted spices. We don't want it to make the curry sauce bitter. Stir it slowly, and the fish curry is ready. You like this? Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to be showing a lot of coastal recipes each week. As the curry is finished, we're going to taste it just to see it's perfect, the salt is right. This is so good. Just a little bit more salt and it would be perfect. The salt that we added in the beginning was just enough for the curry, and then when the fish goes into the sauce, the fish starts soaking in a lot of salt. So always check for salt before you serve a dish to ensure that the right amount of salt is there. Too much of salt is not good. Less of salt means you won't get the flavors of the food. So right amount of salt is very critical to any curry that you make. The Nellore Chapla Koora is ready, and now the favorite part, which is to dish it out and taste it. We top it up with a little bit of fresh coriander, and the fish is ready to taste. The grand finale. I can't wait to taste this beautiful fish curry. Oh, amazing pieces of, see, all individual pieces of fish, and nothing broke in the curry because we simmered it. We did not stir it. And a little bit of sauce on top of it. And I can't wait to taste this. 2 pieces. Well, let's see now. Wow, the fish is just perfectly cooked. If it's overcooked, it would not be so tender and moist. You see, that's sear fish. Mix it with the rice and go for a taste. So good. So in spite of all the chilies that we added, I don't know where it's all gone. I'm loving the aroma of the roasted mustard, fenugreek and cumin that we added right on top. And what a delectable fish curry. This tastes best with rice because rice allows you to enjoy the tamarind and the chilies And if you eat the sauce on its own, you would say that this is a pickle. But once you mix it with rice, it's perfect. Tanginess of the tamarind and the tomatoes, which is adding a little bit of sweetness to it. A fantastic fish curry. Hope you enjoy it and do subscribe to my channel.